on custom live streaming service? Since when?
We're live?
Yes.
It says webinar is now streaming live on custom live streaming service.
We're live?
I was just told that
It says webinar
YouTube.
is now streaming live on custom live streaming service.
Oh, okay, now it's
I
live.
was just
I was
told that.
It says webinar is now streaming live on custom live streaming service. Why is that repeating? Live streaming
Right,
service.
someone's laptop is on or speaker is on, which is causing a loopback.
Who? Live streaming
Right,
service.
someone's laptop is on or speaker is on, which is causing a loopback.
Who? Live streaming
Right,
service.
someone's laptop is on or speaker is on, which is causing a loopback. We could shut that off. Okay, we are live, Ms. Matias, and we are streaming. You may proceed.
Start, okay.
Okay.
Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals review session for February 27th, 2024. Please be reminded there is no public testimony during the review session. Before we commence with the regular review session, we are second calling two cases from yesterday's calendar. Those first item is a decision item. 2022-61BZ, 1002 Avenue N, Brooklyn.
Okay. So the reason we had to second call is that we were waiting for the community board vote. We did receive it. Community board voted to approve it. We also have all the necessary sign-offs on this application. And I hope everybody had an opportunity to review all the information, additional information. Okay, great. So I then make a motion to approve with the following conditions. And that is, and these are the conditions. If fossil fuels are utilized for the HVAC boiler plant exhaust to be at least 49 foot high above grade, HVAC type shall comply with applicable laws and regulations as determined by DOB and other relevant agencies. All site lighting shall be directed down and away from residential lots and shall be shielded as required. Windows at southern and eastern lot lines to be inoperable and opaque, and all operable windows shall have a minimum STC rating of 28. Those are the conditions. Motion to approve?
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. The second item for second call is 2020. This is special order calendar continued hearing items. 2021-56BZ, 337-49, and 351 to 357 39th Street, Brooklyn.
Okay. Unfortunately, we will have to do a third call on this one.
Third call.
Yeah, to call it towards the end of the day. And if not, we will take the next course of action from there.
Okay, we are now returning to the review session. Right, the review session. Zoning.
I apologize, Ms. Matias. I sent you a message. Isn't there an adjournment we need to recall today? Just for the
Oh,
record.
yes, thank you. Just to restate also, item number 33.
Ms. Matthias, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
You need to come closer to the mic.
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Mm.
Can you mute and unmute, Tony, please?
Can you hear me now?
Sounds far away.
Weird. That's weird. I'm standing right where I was before, sitting right where I was before. Let me raise my volume. 100%. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes.
Oh, now we can.
Now it's fine.
Okay. I don't know. It's weird. Okay. So there was an adjournment yesterday. There was an adjournment for item number 33, 2022-96BZ and 2016-4249.
Ms. Matias, you're still a little muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but it's very low.
I don't understand what's going on. I have 100%.
This is better.
Okay.
It's going in and out.
I don't understand.
You wanna
what's
move
going on.
your
It's just
laptop
fine.
over
I think
This
now
is
it's
fine.
fine. Yeah, now it's fine.
Okay. Okay. So the adjournment is item number 33, 2022-96 BZ, and 2016-4249 BZ, 2420 Amsterdam Avenue, Manhattan. So that is adjourned. Okay, so now we're going to commence with the public review session.
Ms. Matias, is your, there's a toggle button that says mic, sound on and off. Is this something that's been changed in the setup?
No, I didn't touch anything.
Okay, now it's fine.
I didn't touch anything.
Hmm.
That's weird.
Okay. I think
Okay.
this is just perfect. Whatever position you have right now, this works. So,
Okay, hopefully I
All right.
can't move. Okay. Okay, so the zoning calendar continued hearing items, item number 31, 20, anybody can never not hear me, it's weird. 2021-14 BZ, 2010 Victory Boulevard, Staten Island.
okay. So, this case has been before the board since 2022. Last we heard this case was on October 31st. And we received the latest submission. It's a significant change from the initial plan. Now, the zoning lot incorporates two of the tax lots, lots 1 and 4, and this will be the only development as it seems on this entire zoning lot. And with that, what the applicant is proposing is proposing to shift the building more from the side lot lines, the residential lot lines, to the center of the site. This does two things. It allows for an additional moving lane. So it kind of simplifies some of the internal vehicular movements between Wheeler and Victory Boulevard. And it also moves some of the issues that the board had in terms of the location of the menu board and how much of backlog or backup there would be from Wheeler Avenue. But I think I still have some questions and clarifications on that. But overall, I would say this is definitely in the right direction and it is a better site plan. And in terms of the total number of curb cuts, location of the curb cuts, those don't change. Number of parking spaces is being increased. Required is 9. The applicant is proposing 16. There is no change in the hours of operations and such. And the landscaping plan, as we had discussed, and the recommendations we had given are being maintained. Though I think we received a separate landscaping plan sheet that should be part of the entire plan sheet. I have two questions, actually no, several questions, but it's more of a clarification. So what I want to know is that if the proposed building is solely within tax lot 14, tax lot 4, or is it straddling both 4 and 1? It wasn't quite clear. I just wanted to know that. Regarding the internal circulation, vehicles that will be entering Wheeler Avenue will have to circle around the building to join the end of the queue, as the applicant stated in its statement of fact. Now, how would one prevent a vehicle that is joining, prevent a vehicle from joining midway? And this may cause a delay, not just for the queuing that is happening closer to from the Victory Boulevard entry point, but also may cause a backup on Wheeler Avenue. So my suggestion would be that the applicant provides bollards along the outer edge of the driveway lane. This would prevent vehicles entering from Wheeler Avenue to merge in the middle. And the reason I'm saying it is because when the trip analysis was submitted, the volume of vehicles that would be entering from Wheeler and from Victory was almost almost 50-50. So, especially during the morning rush hour. So keeping that in mind, I would like the applicant to clarify why, how they would address it. My suggestion is to provide some kind of a bollard that would prevent a vehicle from wanting to merge into to the drive-through lane midpoint. And I see in the drawing, the easement is shown. I don't know if the easement is still necessary, and there is a reason why I'm asking if the building footprint is entirely on lot 4, because I want to know if there is any future possibility of any development on the other side, and if that happens, what happens to the layout and other things. So that is really the reason why I'm trying to ask that question. Regarding the entry of the garbage truck and the delivery truck, the applicant is stating that it would still continue to be from Wheeler Avenue. Now that we have a layout that actually would allow for a pretty reasonable turnaround from Victory, why can't that happen from Victory Boulevard and minimize the commercial trucks from Wheeler Avenue? So that's one. Applicant needs to provide a signage analysis for both street frontages. And there is a correction that needs to be made in the statement of fact on page 1, paragraph 3. It states that the site is an interior lot. It is not. I mean, the entire zoning lot has a corner and an interior lot, but it's not entirely an interior lot. So what I wanted to know if DOT is reviewing the revised plan and what the status of DOT review is. Ms. Benke, do you want to give us an update on the status of DOT review?
Hi, I believe they issued comments on January 30th and we're awaiting a response from the applicant. That's the last thing I have written. I was just gonna double check.
And are these editorial backup data or is it asking for more analysis?
Let me see. There's been a lot of comments, so
You can get back to us.
Yes, I will get back to you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You can get back to us, Vice Chair Shibata.
I appreciated the submission. I felt that it answered a lot of our questions and it reconfigured the site in a way that I thought was, perhaps the best use of the site. I do hear the statements that you've made, and I agree with them. I have nothing further to add.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I think this is a far better site plan. It moves all of the activity away from the residential a little more, and it also results in far greater maneuverability. And I am satisfied with this project now.
Okay. And you do not have an issue with Wheeler Avenue being used for delivery vehicles and garbage trucks?
No, I don't.
Okay. Commissioner Sheta, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I agree that the new site layout is better from the perspective of like dragging the activity, that rotation of the cars, the circulation of the cars away from one of the residents. So I'm fine with that. I believe it could be made better, but I'm okay with what is suggested right now, what's presented right now. The only thing is, last hearing, I did ask them to add some like noise propagation data to the cross sections, meaning that how much noise would be crossing on top of the fence. I haven't seen this added, but I want to say that I did look at the noise study in the environmental documents, and yes, I do understand that the noise that's going to be crossing over the fence is less than the ambient, or probably maximum is the ambient. But I did ask for these kind of data to be added to the cross sections. The sections are shown in BSA 4. I haven't seen these data added. The only thing that was added is the grade elevation. I did ask for that. And STC rating of the acoustical fence. But the noise data, as presented in the environmental study, was not added. So if I mean, if the board decides to like move forward, we can do it next submission if it's gonna be a next submission. If not, I'll take it as is. Thank you.
Ms. Prenga's hand is up I guess after Commissioner Yoon speaks.
Let me go
Commissioner
to
Yoon.
Commissioner Yoon and then Ms. Prenga can join in. Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I also agree with you that this is a far better site plan, and it relieves a number of concerns that we had about proximity to the residential and traffic onto Wheeler, or increasing traffic onto Wheeler. Everything seems to be oriented more towards access from Victory. I think the question about trash delivery operation from Victory should be clarified by the applicant, but I have nothing further.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Prenga.
There was a comment at the last hearing about when the trash pickup and delivery, the hours it would be limited to. I believe the board potentially asked for them to be limited between 8 and 9 p.m. so that there's no disruption to the residential area. But it is, I think it is still proposed to be midnight to 1 a.m.
Okay.
And DOT had a concern with the 8 to 9 period because there might still be cars in the parking lot that would interfere with the deliveries. So that was the first comment that they made. Provide more details about that, how nothing will be obstructed from deliveries.
So, but is it delivery or trash pickup, or both of them are happening?
It says both.
Okay.
Right. So that was the number one thing they needed more information on. They needed more information on curb cuts. If the curb cuts would be closed off during these deliveries. They wanted an RD to review.
And I don't know if the RD is still relevant just because now the zoning lot is merged, and the RD purpose was to ensure that some of the queue could go through the other lot.
Yeah, that.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that is needed. That's why I'm not sure why even the easement is relevant. Yeah, it's now an entire one operation site.
They also wanted more information on staffing, if that's taken into account in the accumulation. And the other comments seem to be just correcting, inconsistencies for the most part, and having, a BPP will be submitted, and that DOT will determine signal timing based on when the project's operational, and that ADA standards will be complied with, sort of conditional comments.
Okay. So it seems it's kind of getting close to it. There's not much additional information that needs to be provided. It's mostly cleaning up the data.
Right. If the board's okay with the deliveries after closing hours, that might, that would be something.
And the closing hours would be, it's till 10 p.m. So it would be after 10 p.m.
I believe that's correct.
I think so.
And not like 2 o'clock in the morning.
It says proposed midnight to 1 a.m., I believe, but they can clarify.
Okay. Okay, so commissioners, please take note of that. Thank you. And did DOT state anything with regards to whether they preferred the entrance of the vehicles, delivery vehicles, from Wheeler or Victory? Would that?
I don't see anything in the most recent comment letter, which was based on, that was sent. There's a new one. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
don't.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the applicant heard our questions, should be prepared to answer those and clarify. Thank you. Next case.
2022-65BZ, 2503-2519 Coney Island Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay. This was heard last on December 12th, and applicant has made its submission. Plans have been revised to reflect all the notes, and also for it to meet the fire department's requirement with regards to the setback. So I have a question, and that's regarding the terrace on fourth floor. This is plan set A104. This is the terrace that is fronting on Coney Island Avenue. Since no gathering is permitted on this fourth floor terrace, I noticed that from each of the classrooms, there is a door that will provide access to this terrace. So I would like to know why there needs to be an access from each one of these classrooms to this terrace space. At most, if you need to access it for maintenance, operation, or emergency purposes, one should be sufficient. So applicant should revise the plan and minimize it, the access only for maintenance and operation purposes. I want to make sure fire department has had the opportunity to review the revised plan and has addressed the fire department issue that was raised at the last hearing. I know we received a fire department letter of no objection, and I'm assuming that is based on the last set of plans. So that's really why I'm raising that question. We still have open hazmat, noise, pretty much open everything, right, Ms. Benke?
Correct. AQ, noise, and DOT.
Okay,
Received WRP sign off.
okay. All right. So is it at its, okay, all right, thank you. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. My only questions had to do with the status of the agency review. I have nothing further on this.
These are the DOT,
DOT,
DEP.
hazmat, FDNY,
Okay.
seeker.
Okay, thank you. So as you can see, we're
Yeah,
still waiting
still
for
waiting on
pretty
them.
much all of them. Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I agree with you about the fourth floor setback terrace. There should only be one access point, and I have no other questions or comments.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Shetta.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with you. I believe we got a LNO from FDNY. I saw that on
Yes, sir.
Friday, I believe.
Monday.
I think we received it yesterday. My only comment was that if they reviewed it based on the latest plan.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I
If they
wasn't
need to
sure.
re-review, you mean?
Yeah,
Oh, they did. Sorry to interrupt. I sent the latest to, once the submission came in, I sent it to Chief Daly.
okay, great. So that means all comments of fire department had been addressed in this latest set of plans. Great,
I have nothing further to that. Thank you.
okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you all.
Item number 33 has been adjourned. Item number 34, 2023-48BZ, 7509 Shore Road, Brooklyn.
Okay. So last hearing held on January 23rd, board had expressed some concerns still regarding the outdoor rooftop play area, need for 2 of them. And based on the comments that were provided, the applicant has revised the plan and is eliminating one of the rooftop areas to be used for, it will not be accessible for anything, including classes or any outdoor activities. The rooftop on the existing building is the only one that would remain accessible for classes and for events. This therefore would eliminate the need for that access ramp. And but didn't understand this, and this is what I want the applicant to clarify. I understand that a fire department ladder would be needed to access from the existing building roof to the new building roof. But the applicant states that it is not considered a permitted obstruction, and therefore a waiver would still be needed. Now, as I look at zoning resolution section 24-51B, which is the list, 24-51 is list of all the permitted obstructions in a community for a community facility in residential district. 24-51B says elevators or stair bulkheads, in brackets, including shafts and vestibules not larger than 60 square feet in the area providing access to a roof. I honestly speaking, I do not recall ever fire department ladder being an issue with regards to not meeting a permitted obstruction. First of all, this is an emergency access way that is required by code. And I would think, even though the text nowhere in the zoning resolution, the word ladder is used. So if anywhere in the text staircase is being used, it is referring to all-encompassing stair types, including a ladder. So I would like the applicant to clarify why this is not considered a permitted obstruction. And then the applicant states that it still needs the waiver pursuant to zoning resolution section 114-122, which is with regards to the maximum building height and setback for community facilities in residential districts in the special Bay Ridge district. And in that, it says that the maximum height of a building or other structure containing community facility uses shall not exceed 32 feet. However, energy infrastructure equipment and accessory mechanical equipment shall be permitted obstruction above such height limits subject to the provisions of sections 2451 or 3342 as applicable. So as I said it, I would like the applicant to clarify why the fire department regulated ladder does not meet 2451B. It is same as a stair, and pursuant to zoning resolution section 114-122, if the maximum height of the building or other structure for a community facility building cannot exceed 32 feet, then it would apply to the proposed stair bulkhead that would be fronting on Shore Road, because that too is extending the portion of the Shore Road bulkhead that is extending beyond the front yard line. It exceeds the 32 feet height. So the applicant needs to clarify that. And the reason I'm asking for this, it just needs to be clarified in the statements. It needs to be clarified in the drawings and such. It doesn't take away from the ask, and the variance needs to be very clear as to what are the specific aspects the variance is being granted and why it is needed. Another concern board had raised was with regards to providing some kind of sound attenuation on the existing roof. And the applicant has provided a ceramic report for the site, and ceramic report recommends that providing at least a minimum a 4-foot high barrier and further restricting occupants away from the parapet about 6 feet would minimize the sound propagation. And to that effect, the applicant has revised the plan. They have come up with a very interesting sound buffer that would reach, that would be attached to the brick wall, reaching no higher than 4 foot high. And then the providing
Planters.
planter beds, right, thank you. Planters that would be located 6 feet from the parapet wall, further limiting the access closer to the parapet. So I thought these were good measures and a good way to address the sound, because the most of the rest of the frontage, rest of the lot line, the side lot line is very much blocked by all the infrastructure and stair bulkheads. It's really the little bit of that exposure that you have along the rear lot line that needs to be addressed. So I thought this was a good solution, and it well, I think it's also is well designed. Per DOT comments, there are certain comments DOT has, those need to be reflected in the plan. For example, need to show on the site plan a no standing school day signage and the area that is going to be blocked off for no standing during school days from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that needs to be indicated on the plan. Also, the applicant was asked to provide a comparison of other schools regarding student to classroom, actually more like class building square footage ratio. And the applicant has provided that analysis, and I feel that it falls within the range, which seems reasonable. But I think this is a question Commissioner Otley Brown had asked, so I do want to hear from her on that. Like I said, apart from the zoning clarification, I'm satisfied with the modification that's been made to the plan. And I believe the applicant has been responsive to the board's comments so far, and also the concerns they have heard from the community board. And they have set the gym building back from the shore road to allow for a more continuous green space instead of building, starting right from the sidewalk. And also has eliminated a good part of the rooftop area for classrooms. And so I really feel this has been a very responsive submission. I'm satisfied with it. With regards to, I think, the reviews, we still have some outstanding reviews. Ms. Benke?
We're still waiting for DOT seeker reviews, and we'll have to consider if any other reviews are needed. If we accept the latest plan, that the EAS would need to be updated accordingly.
Okay. Does it require any DEP review?
That's what we have to discuss based on the revised EAS.
Okay.
The board's satisfied or not.
Okay, all right. Okay. Vice Chair Shibeta.
Thank you, Chair. I too found the applicant's submission responsive. I appreciate the elimination of the open class on the gym roof. I think it was a creative way. I also think the installation of the sound attenuation barrier was creative, considering the concerns that they had at the last hearing regarding wind and how effective it would be. Keeping it at 4 feet would be something I would generally not be open to, but considering that they're creating that 5-foot planter and having, which would result in any person being at least 6 feet away from a perimeter, I believe that should serve best for both the interests of the school and for the neighbors. I have nothing further.
Thank you. I also would add the existing building is set back quite a bit from the rear lot line. So that added distance, and it is at a much higher elevation than the other buildings around it. So factoring all of those measures, because we do have to factor each site conditions and evaluate each mitigation measures based on the site conditions. And I think this works well for this particular situation.
I agree.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
So I do want to thank the applicant team for being responsive to both of my concerns. The first one being the noise possibly making its way from that rooftop to the residences, and their solution of the combination of the acoustic fence and the barrier planters will resolve that issue, hopefully. And I also want to thank them for giving me the information on the gross square footage per student, which allowed me to measure their ask with what is going on in the general educational realm in that area. And I find that their ask is reasonable. It does fall within the range. And considering they do have two different types of student populations that they're trying to accommodate, they do actually need more space than the average school. And so the fact that they still fall within the range, that's all I needed to know. And I'm ready to support this application.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. I see that they responded to the comments that we raised during the last hearing, including noise issues, the relocation of the equipment, the mechanical equipment, the utilization of the square footage, and more importantly for me is the noise and the installation of the noise barrier. I'm happy that the structure engineer found a way to like install that without needing to like change the design of the structural significantly. So yeah, I believe the application is ready. Once the agency review is done, I'm ready to support that application. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I thought it was very responsive. Thank you to the team. I also have never had an issue with ladders being not considered permitted obstructions for access for maintenance only. So if the applicant could clarify why they believe that's going to be an issue, I have nothing further.
Okay. Thank you. So I think what I'm gathering from all five of us is that we are satisfied with the issue of the noise. We do not think this would address, this requires any additional review.
No.
Okay, great.
Move on.
Yeah,
New case, item number 35, 2023-47BZ, 8009, Harborview Terrace, Brooklyn.
okay. This is a new case. We received proof of service of initial filing and hearing notice. Community board has voted to approve. We did also receive a letter of support. We typically don't see these applications very often. This is a special permit application pursuant to zoning resolution section 73-621 to enlarge an existing one-family home that is located in an R2 district in Brooklyn. The applicant is seeking a waiver of FAR and open space ratio. Please note that the existing building is from 19, what is it? I think it's from 1920s. This building pretty, I think it definitely predates the 1961 zoning resolution, and it has a lot of legal non-conforming, non-compliance with regards to yards, with regards to building height, perimeter height, FAR. However, the applicant needs to provide historical documents to establish that this is a pre-existing legally non-complying building on these parameters. Because the special permit of this only allows the board to, for example, the FAR cannot exceed the FAR permitted under the regulations. So the FAR permitted is 0.5, whereas the existing building already exceeds that. Same thing with the open space ratio. And since the building already exceeds, I think the permitted street wall height, to retain that would be okay. But those are the clarification the applicant needs to provide. And the applicant is, of course, these are very modest enlargements. So typically, I think the threshold of the 50% is not an issue, but in this case, the applicant has indicated that they would be meeting that. Other than that, I really do not have any comments on this. I just want the applicant to provide the historical maps and surveys to establish the pre-existing non-complying rear yards, rear yard depth, the side yard width, open space ratio, and FAR, and the perimeter wall height. And I think that can be easily be done showing the tax photos, the historic sandbones, and those are the standard measures by which we have accepted the pre-existing non-complying. I have no comments, otherwise I'm satisfied with this. Vice Chair Shibata?
Thank you, Chair. The only additional comment I had, and it might be just because I couldn't find it, I didn't see a streetscape. Did anyone able to find a streetscape?
No, I don't think it was submitted.
So I just asked for that then,
Okay,
nothing further.
okay. I think, in this,
Sorry.
sorry,
No, my phone was ringing. I don't know if you had heard it.
okay, so in this case, interestingly, what they're doing is they're removing a portion of the attic and are just kind of extending it. And this being a zoning district where there's no height and setback, it's basically you have a perimeter wall and then there's a sky exposure plane. So, but the perimeter wall in this case is a pre-existing non-complying perimeter wall, at least from what I'm gathering. But the application needs to establish that. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I have no questions on this case.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sheta?
Thank you, Chair. Same here.
Okay. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I had no comments on this case. I just wanted to show, they did provide a 1940 tax photo. And then I did go to the site and it looks, the only thing that seems to be different is this
Okay,
covered porch.
right, which is a permitted obstruction.
But yeah, there's no Sanborn. But I do think the photo is there and seems sufficient to prove that the house existed, at least from the front portion.
Right, yeah, I think it's the, I just want the applicant to establish that there has been no change in the perimeter wall height post 61.
Got it, okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Take a, go ahead.
this concludes the public review, the review session.
Yep, thank you. Let's take a 10-minute break to give the applicants the chance to round up their team. And we will start with Victory Boulevard.
Come back at 11,
What time is it?
10:40.
10:44. 10:45.
10:45. So you want to round it to 11? Okay, we'll make it 15 minutes, 11.
Okay, we will resume at 11 a.m. for the public hearing. Ready?
Might as well go all the way and go straight line.
Okay, good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals review session. Sorry, public hearing for February 27, 2024. We'll begin with the zoning calendar, continued hearing items. Item number 31, 2021, 14BZ, 2010 Victory Boulevard, Staten Island.
I think this would be Mr. Ampula.
Phil Rampula, and I guess nobody else is with him.
Kevin, I believe.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah, I
Williams.
don't see Kevin. I just, okay, I just changed him to a panelist. Okay, he was. I don't see Kevin.
Oh, sorry.
Phil's in the room.
Oh, Kevin is in the room?
Yeah.
Shampa, your camera.
Oh, my God, thank you.
Your screen is not on, Ms. Commissioner. Chair, Madam Chair, sorry.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you by yourself or Jean or somebody's with you?
I am by myself.
By yourself? Okay, raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond only to board member questions?
I do.
Please
I-
state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Philip L. Rampula. I did listen to the review session. Yes, the landscaping drawings will be put into the entire set. We'll take care of that. The building is not just on tax lot 4. It's going to straddle both lots, but what we will do is merge those 2 lots into 1 lot. And by doing a tentative 602 with the Department of Finance. Yes, vehicles that enter by Wheeler will have to circle around the building and join. I like the idea, and we've thought about the idea of having plastic bollards along the exterior lane to prevent cut-ins. I don't have a problem with that. The easement that came in off of Wheeler, you're correct, it is no longer necessary. I thought we took it off our plans. I think we did. We'll get it off the survey also. We'll extinguish it, actually. Yes, we can get commercial trucks to come in from Victory and not Wheeler. I understand that I will have to redo the sign analysis for both street frontages. And I will correct the statement of facts, paragraph 1, that it is both an interior lot and a corner lot. Commissioner Shedder's comment about noise propagation, we will show it at the top of the fence, what the noise level is there. And the status of the DOT comments, I know Kevin Williams was addressing it. He is out sick. He called me earlier this morning. He's having an ambulatory procedure done and cannot make this meeting. With that being said, I want to jump into something that's a little different. Since Starbucks is going to take both lots, what we have proposed is the smallest building size that would fit on a smaller lot. They actually want to change the building size and make it larger, which will affect the traffic because the traffic is based on the size of the building. And that will affect where the garbage area is. And that was one of the other questions that I did not address. So I would need time to look at that, see what is best. There has been talk with Starbucks about eliminating in totality the Wheeler Avenue curb cut, but that remains to be seen based on what traffic does to the site and getting people in and out of the site. So I have a lot of work to do to still make this work, but I think we had a very good run at a first start that solved a lot of problems.
I just want to look at the proposed condition, so.
Madam Chair, is your mic on?
Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, so with regards to the building enlarging, I'm assuming the building is going to enlarge within that, the donut
Yes,
Okay, so it was not going to change your drive-by lane, the drive-through, the location of the parking. The only thing that it may affect is the location of the garbage area?
well, one of the things that Starbucks is concerned about is possible conflict between people on the drive-by lane and people exiting the building going to the parking area. So we were in the midst of proposing a raised crosswalk, kind of like a bump or a speed bump.
Okay.
Right where we're showing our
Right,
crosswalk. That hasn't been presented to Starbucks yet, but we will, because I think the site works best the way we have it laid out. But we'll see. So that would only be the garbage, yes.
Okay.
If Starbucks is okay with the way the cars queue.
now, the question I have, since you're going to increase the building footprint, that would also increase the parking requirement. So would you have adequate parking within the site? I know
Yes,
you have extra parking spaces, but are you proposing more than 16 then? Would you need to provide more than 16 spaces?
no, we're thinking of 2,200 square feet, which is one of their models, which comes out to be like 15 and change in terms of parking spaces. So we would be right there.
And will people be allowed to sit there? This would be combination of sitting and drive-through and pickup, or it would be
Yes.
still just be a drive-through?
No, it'll be a combination.
Okay. So a lot of changes need to be made, and so your statement of facts and findings would also have to reflect the changes. And of course, most importantly, the traffic analysis, all of that.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That's the big one. That's going to take the most time, I believe.
Okay.
So does the changing it into a 2,200 square foot with eating change the traffic generation in terms of counting those pass, those on the way to work, kind of getting the discount for the people who are in progress going to another destination by turning this kind of into a destination?
I don't know, Commissioner Otley Brown. I don't know. I would imagine I would imagine things are going to change because traffic is calculated based on the size of the building. So as soon as I do that, I know there's going to be changes.
Mm.
I wanted to get a jump on this, but Kevin's been out and I haven't been able to coordinate with him.
Okay. And I think given this change, you should submit all your documents to all the elected officials, the community board especially. And the next hearing, you should also send a notification to all the affected properties. Because it's change for the better, but they still need to know this change.
Not a problem.
Oh, so we'll do a new notice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a person that's in the screen, Katja Bavadan. Is that one of your people?
Katja works for Kevin Williams' firm.
Should I swear? You want me to swear her in? I don't know if she needs to speak.
I don't think she's going to speak, but
Oh, okay.
you can swear her in.
Okay. Katja, do you want to, Miss Bavadan, you want to unmute? And I'll swear you in just in case you wanted to answer some questions.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Sure. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So,
Carlos, hand is up. Executive Director's hand is up.
yes, go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair. No, I was just gonna, circling back to what was stated as far as the refuge or the design choices, Mr. Impula, just look at 3790. I believe it may be applicable here based on either the size of the new zoning lot. And that's just, and again, that's separate and apart from the drive-through, you would have to comply with those if those are applicable, so that should assist in the design choices.
Well, yes, we did look at that already. And if you look at the landscape plan that we submitted, it does meet the requirements of 3790. We have the 7-foot planter at the streets. And, you know, the other planters are based on it's not 4 feet. It would be 4 feet on the interior lot lines, but it's not, it's BSA mandated. I think I have 6 or 7 feet where I'm up against the residential neighbors. So yes, we took that into account already. Thank
And
you.
Mr. Impel, you're in the low growth density management area?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes,
so I think there's a section that might supersede some of the requirements even on 3790 or maybe it's within 3790.
it's
Which I
within
think adds an
3790.
additional like step or something.
Yes, understood.
All right, Mr. Impel, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Banky?
With regards to the RD, I know we said it might be mute, but I think part of what DOT's comment was referring to was also the improvements being applicant's responsibility. So perhaps if an RD isn't needed, it would be some sort of commitment letter for those improvements.
You're talking about the Victory Boulevard improvements?
Yes, because the comment that mentioned the RD from DOT doesn't really reference which was the parking spaces that we were discussing in the past. It references the improvements and the applicant's responsibility. So I'm guessing they will need some sort of commitment letter, if not an RD.
Understood. But please keep in mind that if we're successful in getting everything out to Victory Boulevard and we eliminate the curb cut, because the curb cut becomes problematic when we try to redo the waiting line for cars, then that would negate having to ameliorate that left-hand turn of Wheeler because we'd get rid of the curb cut, and then we'd have to
Right.
discuss that further.
Okay. Understood.
I see. Okay. All right, so this is going to be quite a bit of change. So how,
That's my question to,
well, I think a lot of it has to come from, it's an internal discussion you need to have with your client in terms of what they want. And based on that, you need to revise the documents. And once we have the revised documents, we will have to proceed with DOT for those additional changes. So I think the ball is on your court and you need to tell us when you're ready to make those changes and what those changes are.
I need 10 weeks to put all my stuff.
Well, before we talk about time, let's go to the public and see if anybody wants to call in.
Yeah.
I have a question. If the building is gonna, sorry.
You can use
Yeah,
this
yeah.
time while you're waiting.
Okay. The case we're currently discussing, excuse me, is 2021-14BZ, 2010 Victory Boulevard, Staten Island. Should you wish to comment, dial 646-558-8656 or our toll-free number 888-475-4499. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 821-1324-2112 and the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are permitted in, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The reason I waited with this is I just wanted to make sure that the site plan is changing. Two things. If the building is getting expanding to like almost 2 times the current size, is it possible to incorporate the trash enclosure in the building, inside the building? That's one thing. I believe it would be beneficial for the site.
How much more can I do?
Yeah,
If it worked, my first priority, Commissioner, is to have the pedestrian and the automotive circulation work properly. If I can fit it in there, I'll fit it in there.
Thank you. And the second point actually is about circulation. Let me just share my screen quickly. Oh, you're sharing screen, Tony. Okay. The second one is it possible instead of you see the driveway from Wheeler is going all the way to the corner of the lot. Is it possible to make that entrance, the curb cut, to make it towards, not in the middle, but towards the middle, like move it down a little bit and then split traffic, so you drag the trash pickup trucks, you drag the cars entering from the residential lot line?
So I just want to stop you there. I think they're also evaluating whether there should be an entrance from Wheeler Avenue.
Okay,
So that entrance
So it
from
might be
Wheeler Avenue
eliminated?
may be
oh, if
eliminated.
it's eliminated.
So we
that's-
don't.
yeah.
However, that loop that you're referring to in the back will still have to be there.
Yes,
Because the entrance would be from Victory. Vehicles would have to circle around the
Yes.
entire donut, as I call it.
the drive.
And
Yeah.
and will have to come,
Yeah, understood.
again, exit on Victory. And keep in mind, the delivery trucks, garbage trucks, all of them will have to make this same circulation. A vehicle would have to enter through Victory Boulevard. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Rampula.
No, you're right.
They'll have to circle around the building and then come back to the exit point.
That's
So
correct.
there
Yeah.
has to be enough of the radius of that turning has to be able to accommodate not just a private vehicle, but also trucks.
You're right, yes.
So I think that is an issue, but maybe you have.
No, I'm not
flexibility
talking about touching the radius. I'm not talking about like touching the area. I know that the building will go up and probably wider. I'm not talking about touching the donut in the drive-through, even the donut on top of that, I'm not touching it.
Right?
All what I'm saying is that if they need to build a curb cut from Wheeler, if they can take it down so that
Yeah, okay.
I agree with you, it's not gonna change much. Yes, yes.
I see.
I
If they
got it.
can move it further down. Okay.
Okay,
Do
executive,
What we have
um,
parking spots.
They can split
Just
it, they
split
can,
them?
yeah, split some,
Oh.
put some, yeah.
Yeah.
And even
Put them
splitting,
up here and then.
yeah,
down.
and
Yeah,
splitting,
okay.
splitting
Got
the parking top and bottom
Mhm.
will ease the amount of entering cars. Some will go right, some will go left.
That's another possibility.
Yeah.
I see what Commissioner Shetta is saying, is moving the Wheeler entrance further down, closer to the intersection. So that if you do need an entry from Wheeler, move it closer to, let's say, where that third tree is, almost, street tree.
Yes, yes,
And that way you split the parking lot on two sides of that curb cut. And, but I mean, they will have to still go around the whole circle to join
during
tail then.
yeah, during the exit, yeah.
Not necessarily. It depends on how long the drive-through
Well,
gets. People will jump in
Right.
if they can. If you're moving that curb cut down closer, people are gonna try and jump in before
Right,
that
and-
last reservoir car.
yeah, and I think the issue is, given where the parking is and AD accessibility, it does become a little bit
Tricky.
tricky. So,
Right. I'm not,
but it's a suggestion. If you need to, maybe that location that is.
I believe it would help, like mitigating the issue of cars entering from Wheeler and merging into the drive-through. Because if you look at the entrance right now, it's kind of like when the cars gets in, it's kind of tangent, so it
Okay.
can easily.
I don't want to design for them on
No,
the
no,
fly.
no, no.
We have given them a suggestion,
Yep.
and it's for their experts to put it all together and see if it works.
Yep. Thank
And
you.
if it's not at all needed, that's even better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Executive Director and Ms. Benke have her hand up.
Yes,
I'll let Ms.
First.
Benke speak first.
Okay.
Gentlemen.
I was gonna say the same. Mine was more of a timing issue, since there's gonna be such revisions and it might take 10 weeks to revise the plans. Did the board want to see the plans before the next round goes to DOT?
that's a smart move. I like that.
I think we should see it before it is sent to DOT.
Okay.
We can have a very quick review session on that without all the inputs. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Can we do the public on this?
Yep, nobody called in.
Nobody called in.
And Madam Chair, just for Mr. Rempula, as you're revising your materials, if there's any questions procedurally, just to ensure that the application is correct as far as DOB objection, affidavits of ownerships, anything like that, please reach out to me.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yep. Okay, 10 weeks. And you can, I guess, as time progresses, you should just keep us posted so that we know how to schedule it.
I will.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item number 32, 2022-65BZ, 2503, 2519, Coney Island Avenue, Brooklyn. This is Ms. Altman.
Yes, I see Miss Altman. I don't know who else would be with her. Yeah. And I should also just I let John, Chief Daly also in.
Yeah. Good morning, Ms. Altman. Is there anyone with you?
It's just me today.
Okay.
Ready to be
Raise your
sworn?
right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Of course.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to board's comments at a review session.
Good morning, Mayor Altman from the Office of Mayor Altman. I did attend your executive session this morning and heard your comments. With respect to DOT, we received a couple of comments back this morning. I've spoken to the architect and we're already working on dealing with that. With respect to DEP, we already have the phase 1 and phase 2 back. I've reviewed them. We made some minor revisions last night and they will be submitted to DEP today. So that should deal with all of those concerns, we hope. And with respect to the terrace on the 4th floor, we heard your comments. I do need to speak to the representative from the yeshiva. Unfortunately, he is on a plane back from overseas at the moment, so I cannot get clearance from him to make that change. But I will gladly speak to him when he returns, and I will respond to that in writing once I've spoken to my client.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to clarify that the comments sent this morning were about school safety, and we're still waiting for seeker comments from the seeker team from DOT.
Thank you, Tracy.
If there aren't any questions for Ms.
To the public?
Let's go to the public, yeah.
Okay. The case we are currently discussing is 2022-65BZ, 2503, 2519, Coney Island Avenue, Brooklyn. Should you wish to discuss, dial 646-558, sorry, 1 second. Timer is wrong. Okay. Cancel it, go back. Sorry. Dial 646-558-8656 or a toll-free number 888-475-4499. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 821-1324-2112 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute to be able to speak on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hands at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay. So you need to look into the 4th floor rooftop, and I think by a large part of it is meeting the rest of the findings, which are directly associated with DOT and DEP's reviews.
Everything is out for review, I believe, except phase 1 and phase 2, which, as I said, are coming in today. And then the comments that came back from School Safety DOT today, we'll address.
So you will be submitting the phase 1 and phase 2 today?
GZA will be, yes.
Yeah.
They've been reviewed, they've been modified, and they're coming in today without a doubt.
Okay. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, I cannot close it.
Understood.
Um, so,
And I will tell you the changes that are being requested by school safety and this fourth floor terrace, once the client comes back today, we can respond to both of those quickly. So it really comes down to the timeline of the other agencies, not our office. We can work with whatever's good for them and for you.
okay. Yeah, I think whatever changes or recommendations that comes from the completion of review at DOT and DEP most likely would affect the site plan and revisions to the site plans, notes, and
Understood.
things. Those are easy, but they're still,
Of course, they still need to be done.
yeah. Oh, where is Miss Matthias? Muted.
She went away.
Sorry.
Are we good?
Yeah, no one has called in.
Okay, all right. So I think
Raising
we
hands.
will schedule this based on reviews and response that we get from other agencies.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next item 34, 2023-48 BZ 7509 Shore Road, Brooklyn.
Okay, this would be Stuart Beckerman.
Stuart Beckerman.
Yeah, I'm just, yeah. There are two of them. I'm going to let one of them.
Might be the team.
So the question is, do I let the other Stuart Beckerman in?
Oh, why not?
Well, let's see what
Right,
he
I let
says.
both the Stuarts in.
It was just one Stuart policy.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon.
Is there anyone else with you?
Yes, and I am the real Stuart Beckerman, by the
I'm
way.
gonna
I
change.
noticed that.
I don't know if
I don't know
anyone
how that
knows to
happens.
tell the truth, but that's okay. Yeah, so yes, with me are Charles Fasano, who's the head of the school and founder as well, and also Jim Keddick, who's the project architect from Chandler
Yeah.
Peters.
Okay, so we have to let him in.
I'm letting him in. I'm letting Jim Ketting in. Anybody else?
I think, Charles, is anyone else joining us? Or
No, that's it. That's
okay,
fine.
great. So
Okay, so
first
wait,
I want to, sure, go ahead.
no, Mr. Beckerman, just wait for Mr. Keddy come in so I can swear you in and then you can
Oh, sure.
proceed, okay?
He's in. Jim,
Well,
can
I
you
need to
turn your
see visual and,
monitor?
yeah,
Jim, can you turn your monitor on and
There we go.
okay, everyone ready? Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay, please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at
Sure.
review session.
I am Stuart Beckerman. I'm from the law office of Hirsch, Singer, and Epstein. And I am counsel to Bay Ridge Prep, the applicant for the variance. First, I just want to thank the board for their comments and review, a careful review. And obviously, we came to a good place thanks to your input and everyone else's. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So now I will go through the issues that were raised. First, the question was asked, why is the ladder, not the fire ladder, not a permitted obstruction under 2451? So, this is a very tough question. And, 2451 does not include egress ladders. And I respectfully point out that a bulkhead is an enclosure, and this is not an enclosure. So I think what we're going to do is we will reach out to our code consultant and find out from them exactly how the buildings department has viewed this historically. And so we'll just get clarity on that, and we'll do that expeditiously, I promise, because we want to get this wrapped up. But yeah, no, I appreciate what you're saying. It certainly doesn't feel like something that rises to the level of an obstruction. On the other hand, there are other things that are listed as obstructions that, to me, are of equal weight, such as, a fence or, some chimney or other things. So so in any event, so that's, so we will get back to you on that. The second question is, why is a waiver of the height limit under 114, 122 not applicable to the bulkhead? And so in this particular case, and Jim Keddick is going to address this, but so the stair bulkhead is located within 10 feet of the front lot line on Shore Road. So, but it meets the criteria for permitted obstruction under 2451. And Jim will go through that over here. He prepared a sketch. And also, I don't know if you are aware, but 2451 was substantially amended in December of 2023 as part of City of Yes. So we will be working off the current definition, the current list of obstructions. So Jim, did you want to share your screen?
I don't know if I have the sketch handy, but basically it's just simply that in the previous version of 2351, there was a formula which was relatively complicated. It had to do with calculating, you take the linear footage of frontage, multiply it by 4, you have to compare the frontage of the bulkhead to that. That's gone. And so the new thing is very simple. It's that you take the frontage of the building in linear feet and the frontage. So this applies to a bulkhead that's within 10 feet of the street wall. And so in our case, we have basically 44 feet of frontage. The proposed bulkhead is 11'6". The new rule is that it's a maximum. The width of the bulkhead structure is a maximum of 30%. In our case, 30% of 44 feet is 14 something. Ours is 11'6". So it meets that specific criterion for a bulkhead within 10 feet of the street wall. In our Z01 sheet, where we did a table of all these like zoning issues and calculations, we are showing the old formula, which is, as I said, was more complicated. The bulkhead, it works with either the old or the new, but and there are other things we show, other calculations, because besides the bulkhead being within 10 feet of the street wall, there's other rules that apply to the bulkhead and mechanical equipment on the roof. So and those rules have also changed a little bit in the new version. And the fact is, we don't have an exact mechanical equipment design yet, right? It's being worked on. But we will just live within the restrictions of, whatever that is. It has to be approved by the building department. So.
Okay.
Right. So, and I believe, and it's on our Z sheet on the plans, we address compliance under the old criteria, right, Jim?
Yeah, it's all there, but it's been superseded by the new one.
So you could, it's there, we don't need to change the plans. It complies with the old criteria, and the new criteria are simpler, and we're in compliance with those as well.
Right. So we can just change that for the record, but it doesn't change the design.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's great. I just find that whole ladder being not a permitted restriction. Logically does not make sense.
Or it doesn't feel right, even though the regulations don't directly address it.
Yeah.
So
And I think there's a reason, if you go through all the requirements, you really don't see these fire safety is called out specifically, other than it being a stair bulkhead, but that's.
So we will confer with our consultant, and we will, if he agrees, we will just take it off, and we will only be seeking a variance for the front yard at that point.
That's right. Yep.
Okay. And then number 3, the site plan needs to show compliance with measures requested by the DOT School Safety Division. So actually, it's on our Site 1 site plan, but not on our Site 2 site plan. We will add it to our Site 2 site plan.
So
it was an oversight. So
that's the other question. We have 2 sets of plan. There is phase 1 and phase 2.
Right.
I think we should be only looking, and this is a question for our general counsel and executive, should we be approving both the plans or should we be approving phase 2? Because that's the final plan. That's the initial plan.
May I intercede here? And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to make clear that our intention is to move forward with the Site 1 plan immediately. So whether the Site 2 plan happens, it will happen, but far, years into the future. So we need a set of approved Site 1 drawings. Otherwise, the building department's going to send us back. That's my fear.
So
we need both plans approved.
you need both plans. But isn't the phase 2 more of the complete, it shows the phase 1 of the gym building.
Right, but what if the building department, if you build something that is less than what the board approves, they're going to send you back to the board for like a letter of substantial compliance or something.
Right, that's why I'm saying wouldn't phase.
We don't want to do that. We want to, because otherwise we want to be able to, because that takes time. And I think the purpose here is to allow us to proceed expeditiously on the phase 1 plan, since that's our intention.
Okay, all right. I think this is something, I don't think the rest of the board needs to get involved. We can just kind of figure that out. I think we agree with you. Eventually, whatever plan that is needed, both the plans are critical. Should there be one complete set or can it be two?
Right.
General counsel has his hand up, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I think we can.
Hi, in light of this discussion, I'd just like the board and the applicant to be reminded of, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Be reminded of substantial construction provisions under zoning. So whatever plan or plans the board is approving or would approve, Department of Buildings would interpret substantial construction there too. So if the board were to approve a phase 1 and phase 2 plan pursuant to a variance grant, Department of Buildings may not interpret complete construction of a phase 1 plan as substantially constructing pursuant to the zoning resolution.
So how do we address that to make sure that that doesn't happen?
Just thinking out loud, I would probably think that we approve the phase 1 with the language in our decision that shows that there's going to be a phase 2, and we'll write it out, the differences, and then come back before a letter of substantial compliance as opposed to a hearing, and we can grant those, we can
do that through LNO.
Through an LNO.
Yeah.
A letter of no objection.
It's something that we can discuss with the applicant offline to find the most defensible and appropriate course of action.
Yeah, I would suggest that figure out a way that can streamline this 2-phase approval process in one go with minimal follow-up through maybe, as suggested, LNO. Okay.
Okay.
I think overall, as you gather, we're satisfied with the application. However, we do need, as part of the special permit. Oh, no, this is a variance. I'm sorry, not a special permit.
Right.
We did too many special permits on schools today, so it's in my head. DP and noise is open.
I
So
believe only DOT is open if we screen out air quality and noise. Only DOT is left.
Okay, I think we can close because the findings of 7221 have been met. We just need the EAS to be, the secret to be signed off for prior to decision.
So what you're asking, Madam Chair, is that the EAS be updated to reflect the new plans, correct? Is that what the board asked for?
Yes.
You do need to revise the plans.
Right, so I just wanted to mention, I reached out to Philip Habib, and they're going to be letting me know when that could be done. So we're hopeful that should happen rather quickly because, we're not doing anything substantially different from what's been looked at already. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they could confirm that that won't affect the DOT. I don't think it should, but the DOT review.
So
And just for the
that-
edification of the board and the applicant, with respect to seeker, if this were to be approved in the future by letter for a phase 2, the EAS would have to encapsulate all of the proposed changes in the phase 1 and the phase 2.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the board would have to reopen its declaration.
Right, the EAS has addressed the whole project and it will.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
it was the entire project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the DOT comments, so yeah, and obviously what we need is, and this is important, and I'm going to ask Charles Fasano to discuss this a little bit, why it's important that we close the hearing now that the board is satisfied and and schedule a decision, because, as you may recall, we need to commence construction this summer. And that can't happen without financing, and financing can't happen without a DOB permit, and a DOB permit won't be issued until the variance is, the resolution on the variance has been issued. So, and I'd like just Charles to just sort of address that a little bit, just so for the board's understanding. So.
I think you said it well, Stuart, but thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your work on this today. So the bank for our financing won't approve until we have a variance, which I understand. They don't want to loan the money for a project they're not sure is going to happen. And we're doing a tax exempt bond, so that complicates the process. And it's going to be about 4 months in between the time that we get an approval to when we actually get the money. So it's just the timeline is very tight if we're going to try to get this started. So getting a sense of what, if the meeting is closed today, what does that mean in terms of when we would actually receive something so that I could head on the project?
First of all, I really do want to applaud the team for listening to all the comments that you've heard from the board and from the community and responding to it in such expeditious manner. From our end, as I said, if you meet all the findings. However, since this is a 7221 and there is an EAS involved with it, SECRA, and we need the SECRA sign off. And I understand you need to start on the phase 1 immediately. And the problem is we need the EAS approval before we can vote on it. And this is not we can approve the plans in phase 1 and phase 2 in the way that, we're internally just figuring out how best to lay it out without triggering that substantial completion factor. The issue become in the EAS, if you do this separately, you'll have to come back for this phase 2 part of it. So you're better off doing the entire EAS for the entire full built project, which includes phase 2. And we do need the sign off from DOT and DEP. Now, hopefully from what the discussions we're having, we might be able to give, the scope of the review may be less, but that is for Philip Habib to clarify, right? Ms. Benke, is that what you were saying?
They just have to provide the EAS. They should clarify as long as the current DOT items which are under review, if there's no changes from the new EAS, because we want them to be reviewing the correct EAS.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it should.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's the revised plan change should not. So if the review at DOT is not, so far has not raised many issues, I'm hoping, and I cannot speak for DOT though, that there may not be that many, but we are doing our best. And I know Philip Habib's office is totally on top of it and is working on it. And Ms. Benke is working very closely with Philip Habib's office and DOT. So we will continue to do that. And my suggestion will be, I would recommend that we close it, but we schedule it for decision when we know we are going to get the sign off from the agencies and we have a SECRA sign off, because otherwise, and I don't want to give you a date because I don't know when DEP and DOT will sign off on it.
We still need to go to the public, Madam Chair.
Hmm?
We still need to go to the public.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, let's go to the public first.
The case we're currently discussing is 2023 48BZ 7509 Shore Road, Brooklyn. Should you wish to discuss, dial 646-558-8656 or a toll-free number, which is 888-475-4499. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 821-1324-2112 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to comment on this case, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
I just have a disclaimer on the detail for the acoustical fencing because we discussed this last hearing. I want to thank the structural engineer and the architect for considering the idea that we conveyed last time. However, the detail doesn't contain any structural information, so I'm assuming that the structural engineer will design this connection properly and check it for to make sure that the existing parapet can take the moments and the other loads properly and transfer into the substructure.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to put in the record. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Beckerman, you can just put that in your letter confirming that it would be done there will be a structural integrity to this proposed acoustical.
General Counsel has his hand up.
Hi, thank you, Tony. I just wanted to go back to Mr. Beckerman's question regarding time. Once the board does render its decision, the applicant can obtain a copy of the approved plans that day or the day thereafter.
It's great.
While waiting for preparation of the resolution.
It's fantastic. Great. Thank you.
So I'm sorry, say it again, Mr. Vine. I missed that. I apologize.
Mr. Beckerman, your office could obtain a copy of the approved plans immediately after the decision.
Oh, before the resolution, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
That's great, Council Vine. And I think that would mean then you need to make sure at your end, the drawings address all the comments of all the board comments and any conditions that any of the other agencies may prescribe. Yes, Ms. Prenga?
I'm noted on that for sending the applicant the plans immediately after the vote, but just want to confirm, we still have not made a decision on how to handle the phase 1 and phase 2 plans, and that will be decided offline, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
All right, anybody, I don't see anybody's hands being raised.
No hands up, no one called in.
Nobody called. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to close.
Okay. Chair Chanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
And the record will be kept open with regards to any changes to the plans or statement of facts finding that needs to be made based on the,
Bless you.
Bless you. I don't think that anything needs to be changed on the statement of findings because we are closing based on that, but anything that needs to be, any other document that needs to be revised based on DOT or DEP's reviews.
May I ask a question? So just so we're clear, so if we no longer are asking for a variance for height, do we need to change anything at this point other than just a letter indicating that, we've determined that no variance is needed for height and the variance will be for yard only.
Well, you do need to still go back and verify, like you said, with your code consultant,
Right.
the ladder. And if the variance is not needed for that ladder, then you just remove that. That doesn't change our findings.
Okay, I guess what I'm asking is, do we need to change any of the other documents like the BZ form or the statement of facts or anything like that? Is it
An updated statement
letter?
of facts. An
Pardon?
updated statement of facts would be helpful for the record, but you do not need to revise the BZ form.
Or the findings?
No.
Yes.
In narrative form, yeah. If you could update your statement of facts and findings to reflect the final version of the application that's being considered by the board, that would be very helpful for the record.
So
Mr. Beckman, this is Carlo Costanza. How are you, sir? Yeah, and the DOB objection wouldn't have to be modified since the board's decision would reflect the waivers that are being considered. So you would be fine there.
Thank you. Right. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for your assistance on this.
So I'm sorry, I'm just one quick question. So we're going to leave the record open for how long? Is there a date or just
Until we call the, till the day of the vote.
and there's no date yet on the vote?
Yes, so Mr. Beckman, we will be reaching out to you this week with a tentative date that you and your side, agree to. In the event that, by the time that next hearing comes, we haven't concluded, we can accommodate the schedule as long as this matter is closed. And of course, in the interim, if there's anything that needs to be discussed with myself or staff, please reach out. And we will try to provide guidance.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Call the next case, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Have a great night. New cases, item number 35, 2023 47BZ, 8009 Harborview Terrace, Brooklyn.
Okay, will this be? Ms.
Fullader?
Yep. And Giuseppe Bonomo also?
Yeah, correct.
Mr. Bonomo, part of your team?
Giuseppe,
Yeah.
Bonomo? Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Bonomo, could you unmute, please, and join us?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. Raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Hi, Lise Fullader from Eric Polanic PC. I'm here with the architect, and we really appreciate your comments. They're not too many, but we'll go through them one by one. I'm going to share my plans because we want to first clarify the perimeter wall height. Share. Okay, I'll start with A9. Giuseppe, if you want to take it from here, you can tell me where to turn, but you can explain it.
Sure. Pages A9, A10, and 11 show the sky exposure plane, and there was a comment made about a non-compliance about the perimeter wall height. I was just wanted to clarify, I didn't note any non-compliance. The perimeter wall, the existing and both proposed, are within the sky exposure plane. If someone wanted to clarify that for me, that'd be great, but we were sensitive in keeping that within the maximum envelope. And if you look on the page she's showing now, 813, you'll see the envelope shown on the isometrics of both the existing and the proposed.
Okay. So, if I understand it, you're maintaining the existing permitted, you're maintaining the permitted perimeter wall height.
Correct. We're within the building envelope.
Okay.
I hope that helps. Okay, the next question was about historical documents and proving pre-existing non-compliances. Thank you, Commissioner Yoon, for showing that 1940s home. We really appreciate that. We wanted to clarify what other documents we could provide for that. Giuseppe, if you could speak to anything you might have, and we can ask if that would suffice.
Sure. You already saw the one document card. We can certainly provide Sanborns, and we have municipal archive photos from the tax department dating back from 39 and 41. They're taking them off the internet. I can get screenshots and put them in the presentation, but it's pretty straightforward. You can see like a Model T looking forward in the photographs. They would date the photograph. So of all the records I have would be the environmental data or Sanborn maps, which we take a full plate from the earliest I have to current. And we could certainly provide the property cards and the municipal archive photos. The only other thing in addition to that we have wouldn't really show the exterior of the building, because I understand that's what the concern is, would be the interior renovation that was filed in 2016 with the Department of Buildings, and a copy of the certificate of occupancy issued by the Department of Buildings from 1926. So if I could provide those three to suffice the requirement.
They have the DOB plans, because I
Okay.
submitted those in the notice of comments, but I guess they don't have the 90, and they probably have the certificate of occupancy as well, because they usually submit that with the.
So if the Sanborn municipal archive and tax photos would be enough, I could certainly provide those three, because that's what I have access to and know of being available.
Okay. Yeah, I think typically we look at the Sanborn maps, historical Sanborn map, because that gives us idea of the footprint. And that will, if the footprint has not changed, that means floor area has not changed, more or less. And some of the views from the historical tax maps gives the height element, and those are the primary ones that we look at as a comparison. Ms. Pollard, you know it from 73-622s. So I think a combination of that should be sufficient. It's really primarily the historical Sanborn, because that will establish your rear yard, side yard, and FAR.
Okay. And then the last comment was about, sorry. Oh yes, the streetscape. We wanted to confirm what you're looking for, if we could do a photographic type of thing with the homes on the side. Sometimes we've done that.
Yeah, I think that, right? Yeah, very similar to 622s.
Yeah, but sometimes you ask for something more. Sometimes we've done it in a few different ways. So that's why I wanted to confirm it.
No, just comparing it to the buildings next to it, the two buildings next to it. That's it.
Oh, just the two buildings next to it. Okay.
Right?
Two buildings fine.
You're looking for the entire street?
I was looking for the side, the entire sidewalk, but two buildings is fine.
Okay.
So one building left and right? I mean, if you need more, it's fine. I just want to make sure I get the photos correct.
You want the whole social block, or?
I mean, if we do the block,
Typically that they usually give for the streetscape.
Which is
Unless-
easier? Let me ask you something. Which one is easier, to show a photo of the streetscape of that entire block, and then and then I've generally seen you put just an elevation drawing that kind of is sitting in the middle of it. Is that would be fine too?
that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
That would be okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, so my only comment would be in the isometric you're showing that it's 25 foot from the yard level. I think the measurement of these heights are from grade level. So whatever the grade level is, just make sure it is 25 feet from that, and indicate that in your elevations, because I think, oh, I'm looking at your building section 812, and in that the grade plane, height from the grade plane.
No, it's the front yard level. The height is being taken from the elevation at the front yard level.
Height is taken from the front yard line level?
Yeah.
Then-
A9.
I think then your 812, the measurement weights, it includes from grade plane, and it's showing it's 27 foot.
Oh, I see. All right, I'll fix that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just revise all these string dimensions accordingly.
Right. So A12 would be the building height as opposed to,
What when I say building height, I mean the perimeter wall height, because that's where
all right.
the
Yeah, I see what I did. I'll take off the building code height measurements from the grade plane, and I'll just
Yeah.
include the front yard line level measurements.
right. So show
Okay.
what the level is from which the perimeter wall height has to be measured, and from there, what is the height of the perimeter wall, and from there the sky exposure plane.
Yes, understood.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, let's go to the public.
So the case we're currently discussing is 2023-47 BZ, 8,009 Harborview Terrace, Brooklyn. Should you wish to comment, dial 646-558-8656 or a toll-free number, which is 888-475-4499. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number webinar ID number 821-1324-2112 and the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to comment, please raise your Zoom hand. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
How long will it take for you to make these changes?
Couple days.
Okay, all right.
Sooner if you wanted it.
I would recommend closing it, and then we schedule it for end of March.
Sounds good. And just Giuseppe, so you know, when you schedule at the end of March, then it's in a week, about a week and a half is the submission.
Okay.
So end of March, your submission would be the 7th of March. So that's next week.
We can, if you need one extra week, we can give you that.
Nah, I could probably get this done by Friday with no.
All right.
Just one, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Those photographs and the streetscape, is that part of the drawing set or is that just an attachment to the submission? In other words, I have 14 sheets in my drawing set. Am I making 15 through whatever to accommodate the streetscape?
We've done it in both ways.
Yeah, Madam Chair, this is Carlo. Yeah, I believe, I'm sorry, I think the question was, are you just superseding certain plans? I would, no, it would be the
No,
whole.
you're not. Yeah, because
The
we don't.
question is he adding a sheet?
Yes,
to
you're
his-
adding a sheet.
Yes,
You're
he's adding a
sheet. You're adding a sheet.
Okay.
Yeah, so add it to your plans.
Okay, yeah, because the streetscape is about 600 feet long, so I'm going to add a significant amount of sheets.
How many buildings do you have along that block front?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 total, but I'm the second from the corner on 80th Street, so it would be one way and 10 the other way.
Actually, it doesn't have to be part of the approved plan to DOB, does it?
No.
So that can be a separate attachment.
Okay.
Separate submission. It doesn't have to be part of the approved plan.
Very good.
Okay. No one has called in and no one has raised their hands.
All right, make a motion to close.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Recalling item number 2021 56BZ, 337, 349, 351, 357, 39th Street, Brooklyn. Ms. Fayenne Baton and Ms.
Giuseppe, you
Reyes?
can go, just letting
Okay,
you know.
Okay.
thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, I see her.
Ms.
Wait, what is the, can you repeat the case number? I'm sorry.
Sorry, 2021 56BZ.
Okay.
This is 39th Street, Brooklyn.
Yep.
Is the Reyes part of your team?
I'm checking no.
Okay, so that person will stay. Okay. Do you want me to swear her in?
Yes.
Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
Yes,
the truth?
I think Katya is also part.
I don't see anyone else in the room.
Yeah.
Katya is
Oh,
at the bottom.
Kaja? Oh, sorry, Kaja Devavidan. Sorry again. Raise the right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
All right, please state your name for the record.
Fayenne Baton from Sheldon Lobel PC for the applicant. I think we're just waiting for DEP sign off at this point. My understanding is DOT is okay with the application and we're just waiting for DEP.
Right. I think as I understand it, from maybe Ms. Prenga, you can update me. DOT is pretty close to signing off, right?
They're
They're
working on a sign off, but they
Right.
have no further comments. That's what they told us via email.
Right. And are there any comments of DOT that needs to be reflected in the plan?
We will determine that once we receive the official letter.
Okay, so we don't even have a draft, kind of, we just waiting for the official, okay. All right. Any questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
Okay. So the case that we're currently discussing is 2021 56BZ, 337, 349, and 351 and 357, 39th Street, Brooklyn. Should you wish to discuss, dial 646-558-8656 or a toll-free number 888-475-4499. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 821-1324-2112 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute to be able to speak on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to comment, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Chair, I was wondering if we don't have obviously DEP sign off today, is it possible that we're on for the March 11th hearing for a close, and then if the board wants to grant the application, that could be on the 12th. It's very sensitive with the timing for the school, as we discussed at the prior hearings, and construction can only be done at certain times. So I just wanted to check if the board is amenable to that. That's scheduled.
All right, let the clocks run out, then we can get into that.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see anybody's hands raised.
No, no one's there in the room.
Actually, yeah, that's true.
Okay. No one is called in.
Okay, all right. So far as I understand, DOT sign off is imminent. And DEP's review comments have been mostly editorial in nature. So I feel, based on that, I feel that we can close this case and wait for the sign off. And we will set the decision date once we know from the other agencies how soon we can get their sign off. And if it's as soon as what you wish for, we will try, but I'm not going to promise anything until I know what the other agencies sign off timeline is.
Understood. Understood, Chair. That's better than my suggestion, so thank you.
You have to do your job. I get it. Okay, make a motion to close. The record still remains open because.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay,
All right, thank you very much.
okay. No, since there are no further cases or questions, this concludes the public hearing for February 27th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.